Most people think Stoicism is about staying calm, suppressing emotions, and accepting life as it comes. Some even believe it's just a self-help trick to reduce stress. But here's the truth. Real Stoicism is not easy. It's not about feeling better. It's about becoming better. It's not about avoiding pain. It's about facing it. And most importantly, it's not about comfort. It's about preparing for a world that doesn't care about your feelings. Today, we're going to talk about the side of Stoicism no one really tells you about. The parts that are hard to accept. The lessons that challenge you. And by the end of this video, you might start to see the world and yourself a little differently. Let's start with something harsh. If you've ever read Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, you'll notice something. He wasn't writing to impress anyone. He wasn't trying to sound wise. He was reminding himself every single day that the world was chaotic, people were selfish, and suffering was inevitable. But he never once complained. Not once. Why? Because Stoicism teaches that life owes you nothing. The only thing you can control? Your response. Most people don't want to hear this. They'd rather believe that one day things will magically fall into place. That if they just wait long enough, someone will notice their struggles and help them. But the Stoics would say, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The moment you stop expecting someone else to fix your life is the moment you become truly free. But here's something people get wrong about Stoicism. They think it's about ignoring emotions, about becoming some kind of emotionless robot. That's not true. The Stoics didn't reject emotions. They studied them. They understood that emotions, if left unchecked, control you. And if you're controlled by emotions, you are not free. Epictetus, one of the most well-known Stoic philosophers, was born a slave. He had no rights, no wealth, nothing. But he realized something powerful. His masters could control his body, but they could never control his mind. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Think about that for a second. Someone insults you. Someone wrongs you. Someone betrays you. What do? Most people react immediately. They get angry. They seek revenge. They spiral into frustration and self-pity. But a Stoic doesn't react. A Stoic chooses how to respond. It's not about being numb. It's about mastering yourself. But let's talk about the hardest lesson of all. One that most people avoid, even those who call themselves Stoics. You are going to die. Not in some distant, vague future. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe next week. Maybe decades from now. But one thing is certain. It's coming. The Stoics had a phrase for this, memento mori. Remember, you must die. It wasn't meant to be depressing. It was meant to be freeing. Because once you accept that your time is limited, you stop wasting it. Seneca, a Stoic philosopher and advisor to Emperor Nero, wrote about this constantly. He saw how people lived as if they were immortal, always putting things off, always chasing things that didn't matter. He said, you act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire. In other words, people are afraid of small things, embarrassment, failure, discomfort, but they act as if they have infinite time to do what truly matters. A Stoic doesn't fear death. A Stoic uses it. Because if you knew today was your last day, would you still waste hours scrolling through nonsense? Would you still hold on to petty grudges? Would you still be afraid to take risks? Or would you live? Now let's talk about something most people don't realize. Comfort is the enemy. Today we live in the most comfortable time in human history. Food is easy to get. Entertainment is endless. We don't have to hunt, build, or struggle to survive. And yet, people are more anxious, more depressed, and more lost than ever. Why? Because comfort makes you weak. The Stoics knew this. Seneca would deliberately sleep on the floor and eat only the simplest food, even though he was one of the richest men in Rome. Marcus Aurelius, despite being emperor, lived and fought alongside his soldiers, never indulging in luxury. Why? Because they knew that if you don't train hardship, life will crush you when it comes. Think about this. When was the last time you willingly made yourself uncomfortable? When was the last time you chose to do something difficult just to strengthen yourself? Most people avoid hardship at all costs. A Stoic seeks it out. Because if you only chase comfort, you will never be strong enough to handle real suffering. And suffering, whether you like it or not, is coming. And finally, here's a truth that might be the hardest to accept. You owe the world nothing, and the world owes you nothing. We live in a time where everyone expects to be rewarded. People think they deserve success just because they tried. They think they deserve happiness just because they exist. But the Stoics would tell you, life is not fair. It never has been. You can do everything right and still fail. You can be kind and still be betrayed. You can be strong and still be defeated. So what should you do? Give up? Complain? Blame others? No, you keep going. You keep pushing forward, not because you're guaranteed a reward, but because it's the only way to live with dignity. Epictetus said, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. In other words, stop talking about what's unfair. Stop waiting for things to get better. Stop making excuses. Just be better. The truth is, most people can't handle Stoicism. They want comfort, validation, and easy solutions. But real Stoicism, it's demanding, it's unforgiving. And yet, if you can embrace these truths, if you can live by them, you will become something few people ever become, truly free. Now the question is, can you handle it? If this video made you think differently about Stoicism, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into philosophy, history, and the lessons that shape us. See you in the next one.